like to ask the Minister for Home Affairs what recent consideration his department has given to decriminalising or legalising cannabis use, and if he will make a statement.
On the Minister for Home Affairs to reply.
Mr Deputy President, the Substance Misuse Steering Group has been tasked with, in the Substance Misuse Strategy Implementation Plan, to undertake a review of the evidence for the clinical and effective use of cannabis for medical use, drawing on the experience of other jurisdictions. Any review on the current legislation in relation to cannabis possession will not be undertaken until after the review on the medicinal use is complete. I am therefore not in a position to make a statement at this time, nor to prejudge the above outcome. But I do personally believe that we need to ensure we are not criminalising people for possession of small amount of cannabis.
Supplementary question, Mr Hooper.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. I'd like to thank the Minister for that answer. I'd like to ask why he's decided to focus solely on medical use, why he's not asking for a report into the possibilities of legalising for all sorts of purposes. What is it that's driven him down we're going to look at medical use only, when other jurisdictions have taken a step phased approach, have got us already to the end of the route and shown that it can work in a fully legalised environment?
Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. As the Honourable Member will know, that this is a subject I've been quite keen to drive forward. But we have to start somewhere, Mr Deputy President. I believe that looking at the medical side of it first, before we move to the next stage, is the right approach to be taking. Several inquiries have gone on in the last 12 months regarding implications with regard to should the Isle of Man go alone and legalise cannabis on the island. There are, as much as the Treasury Minister mentioned this morning, there are border control problems that could arise out of this. There are Minister of Justice problems that could arise if we try to do it. I would rather take the softly approach and firstly take the medical side of it, which I now chair the committee, and I will be able, hopefully in the next couple of months, to bring some further information on the medical side of it forward to this honourable court. Once we have established what the outcome was, and I'm hoping to go out for public opinion on this matter, then we can maybe take the next step, but that will be down to public opinion and this honourable court.
Supplementary question, Mr Hooper.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. Can I ask the Minister then, when he goes out to ask the public their opinion on medical use, will he also be asking the public for their opinion on maybe eventual full legalisation?
Minister to reply.
Mr Deputy President, I don't want to prejudge this discussion that's gone on only just this week. There's a paper arrived on my desk this morning that's got to go to the Council of Ministers for discussion, so it's not up to me to make these decisions at this time without any paper going to the Council of Ministers. What I will say with regard to small amounts of cannabis, and I've been in the press a lot lately saying I do not want to see certainly young people criminalised for small amounts of cannabis. Criminalisation can affect the rest of their lives as to where they work, where they travel to, etc. My department is working very, very intensely with prison probation and health, introducing which is hopefully going to be launched in December, is what we're going to call the Midas approach, where we will hopefully keep certainly low crime out of the courts and put people in the right direction. And I am in a position to say today that MIDAS stands for mentoring, intervention, diversion, advice and support. And this is what we want to do to try and avoid people going to court. This is nothing about deregulating cannabis in any form or whatsoever. What I want to do is to stop small amounts of people with small amounts of cannabis ending up in the courts and advising them what damage it can be doing, finding out what their background in health or in social events are, why they're using cannabis. You know, it could also not just be for the use of cannabis, it could be for theft and many lower rated crimes, to try and keep them out of the court, get them on the straight and narrow. We will work with people like education, we'll work with health, we'll work with probation to stop these people ending up in court and having a criminal record for the rest of their lives, Mr. Deputy President.
Supplementary question, Mr. Collister.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy President. Just picking up a point what the Minister said there about not wanting to criminalise people with small amounts. Could I ask the Minister if this also extends to people who are found with cannabis oil as well?
Minister to reply.
Mr. Deputy President, cannabis oil, or certain types of cannabis oil, are illegal. So this is why I think it's very important that we go from a medical point of view first to try and, in my opinion, and this is my own personal opinion, to allow these medical cannabises to be made legal. A lot of research is being done into this at the moment. We've had a report from Public Health to our committee, and we have come up with recommendations. But I'm not in a position at this time, because this meeting took place only in the last week, and I'm not in a position to divulge any more information, Mr Deputy President.
Supplementary question, Ms Edge.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. The Minister just talked about situations of small amounts of cannabis and how they are trying to do more restorative work with anybody that is thing. Can he advise how many people have gone through that process, and does he have historical statistics with regards to small amounts? We're talking here quite a lot about statistics. I'm just wondering how he's going to keep track of the information that comes forward to him.
Minister to reply.
Mr Deputy President, obviously I don't have figures like that at the moment. We haven't started this programme yet. As I explained, I'm hoping by the end of September we can be able to run this out and start have some progress on it. What I will say, when I look at the Chief Constable's report for this year, yet again, crime is up, but it's up again in people getting done for small amounts of cannabis. And for the last few years, crime levels in the Isle of Man have not been going up for major crimes. They've been going up for low possession of cannabis, etc. The way the law stands at the moment, they'll get a caution initially, and on a court a second time, they'll be trying to put into a programme, and a court a third time, they end up in court. That's the stage I want to try and avoid. It's, to my mind, it's a waste of court time, and it's a waste of police time, and if we can guide these offenders in a different direction and put them on a contract not to re-offend without putting them in court, that can only be good for the courts, for the police, and more important, for the clients whose futures could be affected quite drastically because they've been caught with small amounts of cannabis.